And so for this episode, I'm pleased to welcome Mark Jean Pierre.
Thank you. How you doing, man? My name is Mark Jean Pierre. When we look back 14 years now, I'm still training and coaching people and changing lives, which is a blessing in itself, and I love it.
It's definitely amazing to me how I think getting involved and engaged in fitness seems to really change a lot of those things.
I think for a lot of people, I want to be motivated. Motivation is cool, but it's not motivation that gets you the discipline.
Do you feel like you notice people focus too much on the aesthetic aspect of it, or would you say that it's fairly balanced?
It's not balanced. This is me personally. Don't take my word for it. I don't think it's balanced. And when we tell you, hey, no, you shouldn't be eating that, do this, do that. And then when you meet with a nutritionist, they tell you the same thing. Stay away from this, stay away from that. Eat this, eat that. And then what the result is, okay, you get sick, you have these complications, you got problems. You go to your doctor, what is your doctor going to tell you? You don't follow these things. Now you got high blood pressure, you got high cholesterol, you got diabetes, you got...
Hey, my name is Charpentier, and welcome to Less Than 3%, where we talk about healthcare, my journey to becoming a physician, and really anything from the perspective of a black male pursuing medicine. And in this episode, I have something really special for everybody listening, as we're going to get into a really interesting interview. And so I have someone who has been a longtime friend, and I am very excited to introduce. So let's get started. So the person I'm introducing, he is the founder and CEO of MarkMyBodyFitness. He started working in the fitness industry right out of high school, and he has been involved in the fitness industry for the last 14 years as a coach, trainer, and a power lifter. And so for this episode, I'm pleased to welcome Mark Jean Pierre.
Thank you. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
All right. So I know I gave a bit of an introduction, but if you don't mind, could you get everybody listening and watching an intro to who you are?
My name is Mark Jean Pierre. I've been in the fitness industry, I could say pretty much my whole life as an athlete, leading into the fitness health profession. Coming out of high school, I had a great mentor who took me under his wings. His name by Christopher Sainsbury. And that's what really sparked my interest. He kind of pushed me and propelled me to becoming a trainer and a coach. And when we look back 14 years now, I'm still training and coaching people and changing lives, which is a blessing in itself, and I love it.
To really start things off a little bit more, what would you say really got you into the world of fitness in the first place? What first drew your attention towards that?
High school, I had a teacher and coach by the name of Miss Roth, and she was a triathlon. And the funny thing is that when she would not come to class, she would make me run her class as if she was there.
Wow.
She entrusted me. She knew I had a knack for movement and lifting and understanding fitness pretty well. And she implored me. She was like, please, when class goes on, the substitute teacher's there, but you run the class. You know how I like it ran. And she really pushed me. That started my interest into the fitness realm, you would say. That really sparked somewhere. Because I was an athlete. I was playing football at the time. So I think that's what really kind of grind my gears of just going in that direction in a sense.
Yeah. And to add on to that a little bit, I feel like in some sense, maybe not completely, but in some sense, I think I can relate in terms of this past year where it's really been a time where I'm starting to take fitness, training, even just in terms of lifting pretty seriously or a lot more seriously. And it's definitely been something that I felt I've been able to connect with and build a passion with. Beautiful. And something I definitely want to ask you in terms of that would just be, what type of significance do you feel fitness has kind of played in your life, whether that's in terms of the people you interacted with or just even the stress reliever, whatever the case is?
I'll give you 2 to 3 breakdowns. Personally, for me, it's therapeutic. For me personally, because I'm able to get into a place where I do feel overwhelmed and stressed throughout my day. I'm just able to focus on my lift. I have a program set, whether I'm doing powerlifting, strength training, conditioning, whatever my program will be focused for that season in my life. I can go to the gym and just lift. I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't have to think about anything. It's just me and the weights. And that's it. Because if you think about anything else, you're distracted and you can't execute what the program is. So that for me is it helps me in so many ways where after a good lift, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I sleep a lot better. It helps in that way. As far as clientele's concerned, as far as the clients, it allows me to see where they are and where they can go. I had a client by the name of Brian Poppy. I was working for Crunch Fitness in Park Slope a few years ago. And to see where he started from, he was an employee for Google. He started from a place where he couldn't do anything to the point within the 5 to 8 month ratio, we lost 54 pounds. Wow. He was able to drop down some weight tremendously, strengthen his body, get ripped, get going. And just the excitement on his face was more rewarding to me than anything else, that he can be like, 5 months ago I couldn't do this, look where I'm at now.
Yeah.
That to me was life changing. That was the high for me, the endorphins. I'm just like, to see that on every person's face that I train, I'll take that any day. That's bigger than a check.
I think definitely the aspect of being able to get joy out of seeing that sort of progress.
Correct.
And seeing that growth and seeing the benefits that like fitness and those sorts of things will have on you. Mm-hmm. Like I can even say, for example, through the past year, when it's come even to school, like disciplining myself to go to the gym like multiple times a week is one of the things that has probably built a lot of things for me. Like I remember beginning of the year, before I started really getting the gym consistently, I was like constantly tired, almost like falling asleep in class, like really, struggling a little bit. And it took a couple of classmates to kind of push me and kind of get me to start going there consistently and working myself out. And over time really start to see changes in terms of that, where like my focus was better. I was able to be more engaged in class. I was able to even have more stamina throughout the day and night in terms of studying.
Yeah, it's crucial.
Like it literally changed so much of that stuff. And I was like, okay, I have to continue to do this.
Definitely.
It's definitely amazing to me how I think getting involved and engaged in fitness seems to really change a lot of those things.
I think for a lot of people, I want to be motivated. Motivation is cool, but it's not motivation that gets you this. The discipline. It's the discipline. Anybody can be motivated, but very few are disciplined and stick with it. So when I tell people, it's not just, I want to do it. It's a lifestyle. You just got to be consistent, whether it's for 5 months, 6 months, a year, or for the rest of your life. It takes a lot of discipline and fortitude to really just stick with the program and continue to see those results.
And so how would you say you were able to really build that discipline in terms of, I'll probably ask you in a twofold question, but number one, the discipline of being able to first really get involved in fitness and being at the gym and doing those things on a consistent basis, regardless of how you felt or what was going on. But the second part would also be in terms of like the eating aspect, because I think that's, I might even just save that for a whole other separate question. I think that's another whole aspect of the entire thing.
It goes hand in hand. I'll answer your first question. The motivation comes from me, myself. I also had trainers. So I didn't just wake up one day, get big and bulky, and now you see who Mark is today. I had really good coaches. I hired 2 other coaches when I first started as a trainer to learn from, to understand technique, to understand form and proper training regimens that's going to help me. This didn't happen overnight, but when you get the proper teachings from the right people, it shows in the effort of like, wow, this is what you can accomplish. And even like my counterparts and other people that were trainers, you learn from each other. I say this, working at Crunch, we had a segment in time where we all had to train together. So after our meeting, after our clients, mid-afternoon, we were like, okay, time to train. And they will force you to want to get better. And there's certain people who were good at other things than I was. And then you will learn that. And then over my course of my career, I learned from great trainers, whether it be from Crunch, Equinox, New York Sports Club, no matter where I was surrounded by other fitness influencers or fitness professionals in that realm, I would learn from them. And there was so much knowledge I can grasp from and take from to implement in myself and get going. Now, the second part, as far as the eating aspect, nutrition is very important. You could train all day and eat like crap and you won't see a dime of results you want. You just get big and bulky for no reason. But if you want to see significant results and change, you have to have a decent diet. What are you training for? It depends on your diet. If you want to get lean, it's a specific diet. If you want to build muscle and get bulky and strong, that requires a specific diet. And that diet, I hate the word diet, but it's a strict regimen of eating certain things to obtain the goals you want to obtain.
Yeah.
And that's where it really stems from, because that's why you train. When you look at athletes, where basketball, football, the Olympics, any athlete that's training for a long time to achieve a goal, they're on a strict regimen for months. It's not just like, okay, whatever. The Olympics, people train for 4 years. It took them about 4 years of just strict discipline of getting to what you want, and they have a strict regimen of training and a nutritionist and a strict regimen of eating the right thing for their body, because your body needs the right things to perform well. So nutrition plays a major, major key.
I definitely think hearing it from you, for sure, definitely brings me back to a lot of the things that I would say I probably try to tell myself, and maybe a lot of people can relate to, in terms of just recognizing really the importance of not just trying to work out hard in the gym, but also understanding to really be able to reach the goals that I want to reach is going to take a level of discipline outside of just, the reps that I'm putting in as well.
Correct.
And I think probably two factors I would say definitely help like me a lot in terms of the growth that I'm progressively making throughout this year. I would say one of those things was, actually I would say both those things kind of came from a similar source. So there were just two classmates that I had who were really able to push me just in terms of, number one, getting me there consistently, but also I remember having a conversation with them. It was right before the gym was like opening back up for like, I guess, the new semester at the time. But the conversation we were having, one of the things that stuck with me was that one person basically told me not to look, or basically to count going to the gym as really like a mental health need, which was something I never thought of before. Because all the previous times I was like working out consistently and stuff like that, it was more about just kind of like maybe a physical desire, like a preference, or just something good to do.
Right.
But I think once I kind of shifted my focus toward it being like a mental health need, it no longer became just a thing of let me just go there and go. But it was like, this is something I need for my success as an academic. There's something I need for my focus. There's something I need for, maybe my sleep or anything like that. And I think that's where that really starts to shift. So one of the things I should probably ask you about is what role do you think it plays? Because I even hear this when it comes to health coaching from the clinician's perspective.
Right.
What role do you think it plays, even from a fitness perspective, to really be able to understand and get at the goals that the clients and the people that you're working with have, just in terms of their personal life, what needs they may feel like they have, some of the values that mean a lot to them in their lives, even outside of just their things that seem physical?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? What role do you think that plays into all of this?
I think it plays a major role. You spoke about mental health, and right now I'm in school right now to become a mental health coach. And I think when COVID happened, it affected a lot of people mentally, because you physically was not in the gym. You couldn't move the way you wanted to or do things that your body aspired to do. And a lot of people took for granted the simple fact is going to the gym was a stress reliever. And I was just like, wow. I didn't know the impact it took up until really like COVID really exposed it all to the point where some people couldn't go to the gym. They was like, they were freaking out. I was training clients FaceTime. I had clients in Oregon, Canada,
Wow,
Norway, just all over, just FaceTiming me. Whatever I gotta pay, I need this. It was a mental thing. They needed that to place where they felt comfortable and good. Like you said, you go to the gym, it helps with your mental state of mind. This is how people's able to really focus themselves and really get going. The gym plays an important role for that. A lot of time for people, it's not physical, it's mental. They get to lock it and do their things. For a lot of people, it does affect their day-to-day. Not working out for a month and a half, you got to start from scratch. I've taken a month and a half off and my body is crying. But my body needs the break because it's wear and tear.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it's like, they need this. For some people, it's just that thing that gets them going through the day. I know people who get up at 4 or 5 in the morning. The first thing they do is go to the gym. That's how it's a routine for them. They start their day with the gym. They feel good. Sometimes it's a feel good thing for people. Some people are just obsessed with just being in the gym. You know, it does affect people's lives. I'll share how the client. I won't say her name because Lord knows if she ever sees this, she's gonna be like, "What?" But I had a client who was married, and she said the gym saved her marriage.
Wow, interesting.
And you would never think about it, but just the presence of me being there, having a conversation with her, and allowing her to express herself is therapeutic. The gym is therapy for some people. There's different forms and fashions and way where people go to the gym. It brings sense of community. I left the corporate gym and I went into CrossFit. CrossFit is such a tight-knit group of people. It raises and builds community. I worked at Dean CrossFit, which is one of the largest black-owned fitness gyms in all the 5 boroughs. And the amount of community, before that, it was CrossFit Kingsborough on Atlantic. And then moved over to the Dean. But the community that it brought the people was transformational. You've seen parents with their kids working out. You've seen it brought a sense of community together where you get to see the young and the old together do things that they've never done. And being in the gym, whether it's a CrossFit gym or a high-end, fitness center that you want to be at, but it brings a sense of community where people get to meet one another, talk. It does change your life. Where people sometimes they look forward to going to classes together. Some people go run and take a spin class, or some people go take a boxing class or a pole class or whatever. Those classes really help them in a way where not only they're building community, but it helps them throughout the day. They come off for work, they look forward to seeing their friends, and they come back, and that's also a part of your daily life. So, health and fitness and just being in the gym alone transpired in those everyday things. And that's something when after COVID, I realized we could never take that for granted because it was a big ordeal. Let alone just good for your physical health, but for your mental, for your emotional, for your spiritual, it all ties in.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's an aspect of the gym that I noticed, or just in general fitness that I noticed, but I've probably never really given that much thought to. The fact that there really is a sense of community that gets built when it comes to the gym, being able to work out together. And, it really is it's something just like every other hobby, I would say, where you're able to have the opportunity to connect with people and pursue those passions, pursue those interests.
It keeps you accountable. When you don't show up to the gym, they be like, "Where were you this week? Why you didn't show up to the gym?" Sometimes if I have a client and she have a membership somewhere, I checked my Apple Watch. I didn't see your steps.
Oh.
What's going on? Everything is so integrated where it keeps you accountable whether you're there or not. People will keep you accountable. Your friends will keep you accountable. Your family will keep you accountable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what kept me accountable? And this is a personal story.
Yeah.
My cousin called me. He's like, "Y'all want training." If it wasn't for him, I was not getting up in the morning. For him, I dedicated my twice a week, 3 times a week to make sure I go to work with him at the gym. Just because he was dedicated, it made me more disciplined in areas in my life where I felt like I was lacking. Something so small but so pivotal. And the consistency and the drive to see somebody want to push themselves, it encourages you to be like, what more can you do for that person and yourself? Because it's bigger than just you anymore. It's not just about you because your presence matters to other people now. So now it's not just you being at the gym or you just working out. You affect the change of the community around you. And we don't think about it in the larger scope of things, but we do. So if you miss a day, your presence is not there, it is felt. If you can't make a training session, you can't work with them, your presence is felt that you're not there. It means something to somebody for you to actually show up. That's crazy.
No, definitely. I think especially that accountability aspect and that feeling of when you're able to really go consistently with people, it's going to bring about, I think, that sort of impact.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and I think going off of that, I know you've spoken quite a bit about in terms of benefits of fitness and the benefits that really come from being able to work out and connect with others and that sort of thing. One of the aspects that I think often probably gets talked about quite a lot when it comes to fitness is definitely outside of maybe just the health benefits, a lot of maybe the aesthetic aspects of it, the look of it, whether it's working out at the gym with the results.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I think definitely whether it's dealing with like the results, or it's dealing with just trying to show, you know, certain flashes or highlights of progress and things like that. One of the things I definitely want to ask you about, especially from the perspective of someone who's working with a lot of different people from a lot of different places,
Right.
do you feel like you notice people focus too much on the aesthetic aspect of it, or would you say that it's fairly balanced?
It's not balanced. I don't. To me, this is me personally. Don't take my word for it. I don't think it's balanced. That image sells to the public and people of the masses, but that's not 100% realistic for everybody because not everybody can attain that body. Is it impossible? It's not impossible, but for the average person who's trying to achieve that, it's going to take them a long time without the proper training, the help, the nutrition, the routine, the vitamins, etc. It's a different ballgame. A lot of people focus on the aesthetic because it looks appealing, it looks good, so they do whatever it takes to get the aesthetics, whether it be going through surgery, whether it be going through different cosmetics. And social media has a big, heavy way of playing on that for a lot of people because once you flick on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat, whatever social media you have, you flick, that's the first thing you see. That's the first thing you see, and it affects us on the psyche, the mental. Oh, wow, I want to look like that. What can I get to do to look like that? It takes hard work and discipline to achieve that, and some people in the industry do work hard. And now I'm not going to say not everybody cheats themselves, but there are those who didn't achieve their body the right way. You know, they was able to get enhanced, they was able to do X, Y, and Z. There's a benefit and a blessing and a beautiful thing of when you work hard for something, you appreciate it more, as opposed to somebody just giving it to you.
Yeah.
That's like buying a car. Your parents give you a car, but when you actually work hard and put your hard-earned money to it, and you buy your first vehicle or your second, whatever you buy, you appreciate it more. The value to you means a lot more. It's the same thing for your body when you invest into it. It means a lot more to you to see yourself get those results, as opposed to just being like, okay, wow. Because everybody sees the aesthetic of what they want, and they want to look like that. And I always tell people it's not the aesthetic that you want. I want you to build strength. Because over time, when you look at statistics and how things are made, aesthetic, people look good aesthetically, that's fine. But as you, from young and as you get to your old to your senior year, one thing that you do lose is strength. And I'm a big advocate for strength training because as the older you get, I work with senior citizens from the ages of 60 all the way to 82. And the biggest thing for them was being able to walk up the bus, to get up the stairs, to do these things because over time your body changes. So we build and we just focus on a strength training cycle to build you up. There's nothing wrong with aesthetically looking good. I think aesthetically, everybody should want to look their best. Everybody should want to look the best that they want. But at the same time, for everybody, it's not always a realistic thing. And we have to be real about that because now when people see the aesthetic look of somebody who looks amazing, I mean, I'm not in the best shape of my life. Doesn't mean I can't improve. I'm a solid big dude, but everybody's goal and what they want for their body is also different. And I always tell people, be realistic about your goals and how you want to get there. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It takes time and discipline and working really hard. When you want something bad enough, nothing stops you. And it doesn't. So that aesthetic look just for everybody to see me, just to get likes on social media, it baffles me. As opposed to like, yo, put the time in, put the work in, take care of your body. You only have one. Because when you make alterations and changes, you can't change those back. Those are permanent. And when you take it out, your body's never the same. Because your body's trying to adjust to the changes that is happening. I'm sorry I went in for a little bit. My bad.
That's fine. But
fine. It's real. You know, a lot of people just that aesthetic look is everything for them. And I just want people to be healthy. I don't care how you get it. Be healthy all around. Eat, walk, run, ride a bike, whatever, road machine, and then work out according to what your body's capable of doing. And little by little, just push yourself a little bit more than the next. Yeah. And then you will be pleased with the results you happen.
Yeah, I can definitely say that I think there is for sure an aspect of like that long-term discipline and being able to push forward and seeing the benefits of that in the long run. And I think that's definitely something I've had to tell myself quite a bit for sure. Yeah. Even throughout this past year, reminding myself that ultimately, number one, at least for me personally, the main goal that's keeping me going consistently is my mental health and my mental and seeing the benefits that I had and wanting to continue that. And then I would also say really just recognizing that even if it comes to the aesthetic aspect of being able to feel stronger and all those different things, that's going to come with time and that's going to come with consistency. And so I think ultimately there kind of has to be that choice that has to be made of wanting to be disciplined and wanting to push forward and continue. You try to build off of what you're building and recognizing that it's going to be, sort of long-term process.
Proud of you, man. Not for real. That it takes a lot to see where you came from to where you are now. I'm so proud of you. It takes a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people don't know your story, but it's real. This is why I go so hard for people when they're like, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm going, this is where I came from. And I'm just like, yo, wow, keep going. Because you're going to inspire so many other people. So many other people need to hear and see and be like, yo, what really made you get into this? Well, this is what I was going through in life. Life happens and you know what, life changes, but it makes you make decisions more accordingly. So keep going, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and to pivot a little bit, one of the things that I often try to focus a lot on when it comes to Less Than 3% as a podcast is really being able to capture a lot of the different perspectives and a lot of the different things that maybe people wouldn't even expect that really tie into health and healthcare and medicine, all those different things. I even did something relatively recently where I had an interview where we talked a lot about like fashion and how that could tie into healthcare, specifically mental health and things like that. And one of the things I definitely wanted to ask you quite a bit about is in terms of the connection, and I think this is probably going to be an easier connection than fashion, but what are some of the ways where you feel the results that clients are able to get in terms of the fitness world with the sort of healthcare medicine aspect of health and ultimately people being able to be really just promoting health and wellness like to the fullest extent? Where do you feel fitness kind of plays into that puzzle, especially in terms of like fitness training?
That's a loaded question. Personally, for me, I feel like the healthcare system has failed us tremendously. I feel like they dropped the ball in so many ways. Now, I'm not talking about doctors or physicians or nurses, whatever. I think those people are amazing. I'm talking about the healthcare system as a whole has failed us when it comes to our health. And the one thing that kept people going, and it, like I said, COVID was a really big exposure for that. The one thing that kept people going and kept people okay was the gyms. I didn't realize it until I had to personally witness me being at a black-owned institution as a gym, and then we had to shut down, and people was just like, oh, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. We lent out equipment to members so that we can host classes for them online, or whether on FaceTime, on Zoom, whatever, just to keep them going. It was a health thing for them to keep their bodies moving. If everybody just ate decent, and then on top of that, worked out and just moved a little bit, that makes a world of a difference. This is why when I go to certain gyms, they tell people, let's just have a multivitamin. It's important. You know what I mean? Those who wants to have certain change, yes, take your creatine, take your supplements, which are also needed, but also eat the right things.
Yeah.
Chicken breast, vegetables, your complex carbs, your fats, your proteins. You need a balance of all those things to keep your body going. Yeah. Like, it's just plain and simple as it is. Like, we tell people, hey, eat the right stuff. What are you doing? Trainers get on clients all the time because they eat garbage, they eat junk. And when we tell you, hey, no, you shouldn't be eating that, do this, do that. And then when you meet with a nutritionist, they tell you the same thing. Stay away from this, stay away from that. Eat this, eat that. And then what the result is, okay, you get sick, you have these complications, you got problems. You go to your doctor. What is your doctor going to tell you?
Same thing.
Do the same thing. And then what happens when you don't follow these things? Now you got high blood pressure, you got high cholesterol, you got diabetes, you got all these things. Now you need to end up getting yourself medicated with nonstop pills for pressure, for this. Now, I'm not saying that the pills are bad, because sometimes you need them because it helps. Yeah. Your body goes through changes. You need them. You got high blood pressure? Yeah, sometimes you need to go take a blood pressure pill. I dealt with stuff with high blood pressure. Do I take a pill? No, because you know what? I literally hit the gym and I train and I regulate my pressure to make sure I'm sleeping right. I'm eating and I make sure I bring it down and do what I got to do. But at the same time, like we as trainers and fitness professionals, we try our best to like encourage our clients and people all over just to eat the right things. There's so much information out there for you to eat what's good and what's right. It's just a decision if you want to do it. Because if you don't, you're just lazy.
Yeah, I definitely think and one thing I think about quite a bit, quite honestly, is I would say there's for sure an aspect, especially looking at from the health perspective and the healthcare and medical perspective. I would say even a lot of things that we do learn. One of the things that I feel like I can say stuck with me from even the we did in school we did a module on like cardiovascular system pretty recently, and you think about a lot of the diseases when it comes to that, whether it's atherosclerosis, ultimately people ending up hospitalized because of having a heart attack and different things like that, and we really walked through a sample case of someone having a heart attack and being hospitalized and having to go through the complications, all these different things, and ultimately towards the end I remember talking about patient then having to follow up with the doctor. And one of the things I always think about when it comes to examples like that is how big of a role the things that get done in terms of preventative care plays into all of this. Because I think when it comes to eating healthy or not eating healthy, the decisions that people do make in terms of what they put into their bodies and that sort of thing is ultimately what sets them on the path to where they're going to end up in the long run. When it comes to now from the healthcare system aspect, having to really deal with a lot of different health complications and really trying to help patients in terms of that sense. But one thing I've always felt for years is definitely that there needs to continue to be an emphasis when it comes to that preventative care. I agree. Yeah, when it comes to not just being at the hospital, but before those complications even come, being able to be disciplined about what you're able to do for your body.
I'm going to give you a personal story. I was really bad with that. But that's just because there's a lot of other things in my life that was happening. I had a really good job, lost it, whatever. And then for a while, I didn't have health care. So because I didn't have health care, it prevented me from actually going to see a doctor. Now, for how long? I would say between 6 to 8 years straight. That's a very long time not seeing a doctor, not seeing a dentist, nothing. But just in my field of health and fitness, I thought I relatively kept myself pretty decent. When I did have insurance, I went to go see a doctor. Cholesterol was good. Everything was good. I was probably in the best shape of my life in 2016, 2017. Fast forward to now, got a great job doing what I got to do. I got insurance, figured out my life, finally seen a doctor after all that time. And I didn't realize just checking up on myself for that preventive care you was talking about was crucially important, because I was able to discover I had a lot of things that I was not happy about. You think you're healthy? No. Yeah. The doctors would tell you straight up, no, you got this going on. Let me get your blood work. It's important to go see a primary doctor. It's important to go get checked. I'm not a big advocate for a lot of things, but go check on yourself. Once I get my results from my doctor, my lab results, things were pretty decent, but okay. Some things I wasn't happy with. I started making some serious life-changing decisions. I changed my diet. I started doing this more. I started going to bed early. Started sleeping. Why? Because now I was able to look at what they showed me on paper and look at my results and be like, yo, wow. You won't even know that if you don't, take preventive care. That's important. Yeah. So getting checked out is crucial. Like, that's a must. A must. And I'm grateful I did, because now I'm able to nip certain things in the bud. I'm able to take care of X, Y, and Z. And I'm grateful for it, because now I feel 10 times better. I mean, 110 times. It makes me a better trainer. It makes me a better coach. Because now I'm actually preaching what I'm actually doing instead of just telling people, hey, just go do it. But yeah, I'm not doing it myself. That's being hypocritical. I can't do that. I need to go make sure I'm good. You're no good to nobody else if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely good. And I think that even ties just together really the health and healthcare aspect and the fitness aspect, and how both really fit into the puzzle when it comes to health and wellness. Hand in hand. Because if you've realized, oh, I'm obese, and your doctor tells you, hey, this is where your BMI's at, and this is where you're peaking at, this is going to cause X, Y, and Z, you got to drop some weight. You need to get into the gym. You got to start doing things. You got to exercise. You got to change your diet. Being in the gym, having a good nutrition, and seeing your doctor
will always affect your life. Now you can determine what your lifespan want to be. That's entirely up to you. If you don't want to do those things, you can shorten up your life. If you want to add some years to your life, all right, listen to your doctor. Let me go eat, work out, etc. And it's just a routine of making sure that you take care of your health. You only got one body. You don't get another one. Simple as that.
Yeah, worded perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah. And definitely going off of really that connection with health and fitness, some of the people that I definitely expect to be able to see episodes like this are even going to be a lot of aspiring physicians. That's definitely what I pray is able to happen. And so one of the things I always look to do is to really be able to encourage the next generation of physicians, including myself, God willing. And so one thing I'd want to ask you, from that fitness perspective and recognizing how that's able to connect to health, what is one thing that you think you would want aspiring physicians to know when it comes to fitness and health?
Don't be afraid to take the risk of trying things for yourself. I always say that this goes for a lot of trainers. I would never tell you to do something that I've never done myself. That's big. I even asked my doctor, have you tried that? Did you do this? Have you dealt with this? What did you do? Because 9 out of 10 times you can tell me these things, but if you've never experienced it or dealt with it or done it, it's hard for you to correlate or relate with anybody at that point. I can't tell you, hey, James, I'm your trainer. Give me 15 push-ups, and I ain't doing not one push-up myself. It doesn't make any sense. Go to the gym. Try different programs. See what works for you. Go through the experience that you have to go through so your body can go through that. So when somebody asks you, how does that feel? What you can relate to? You can relate to them and be like, yeah, I've done it. I've been there. It sucked. It hurt. But this is the results able to get out of it. Now you're able not only just help yourself, but you're able to understand what they go through and then encourage them. Physicians are so important. So important. I know it's a very competitive field for you guys. I know it takes a lot, but you guys are so important. I train doctors. I train nurses. I train law enforcement. I train teenagers, kids. I train athletes. I've trained them all. And I finally had my first physician about 5 years ago. We clicked. He was dope. Dope. Very smart guy, but he was just like, I've never known that my body can do these things. It's one thing to look at things from a textbook, but it's one thing to actually, that application to apply what you're reading.
Yeah.
Is a big difference. So you're able to actually not only take what you've applied from a book, you're not only taking what you applied from actually physically going through it, but now you're able to like, I get it. Now you're able to really tell somebody this is what it is. And you guys are crucial because now you get to get the best of both worlds and really merge that and really help somebody. This is why I always tell anybody in the health profession, don't stop training. You can't stop training. I train with, I got 5 nurses right now that I'm working with. And I keep telling them, y'all can't say that y'all too busy with a 12-hour schedule. There's 24 hours in a day. Figure out your life. Keep working, keep training. It's gonna help you in the long run. You can't be too busy to the point where you can't neglect yourself. That we need you guys. I don't know how much to stress that. You guys are so important. And the next generation of physicians that's gonna come up, be an example. Be the example. Push forward. Do what you gotta do. If you need help, you need advice, hit me up. I got you. 14 going on 15 years in the game. I haven't stopped training. I've been playing football since 2003 till now. Still doing fitness. Still trying to keep myself accountable and keeping my health because it's important. You guys are crucial. Where would we be without you guys, honestly?
Definitely. And I think I definitely appreciate what you just said there, because I think for me, that's definitely been one of my biggest motivations when it's come to going to the gym and doing that is I don't want to be a physician who's looking to counsel a lot of patients and tell them you need to eat this or you need to do this better, you need to try this. And yet I myself am not really on top of my own health.
Right. A lot of people do it for a check, which is fine. That guys get paid pretty well. But At the same time, people are looking at you for the answers.
Yeah.
Because they have no answers. People come to us because we know what they don't know. If it wasn't so, then we won't have jobs. We won't be in the business that we're in. I'm a fitness professional. I've been in health and fitness for God knows how long. So when people ask me questions on how to get stronger, how to build muscle, I've been doing it for years. I've applied myself. I've gone to school. I've applied myself. I've took certifications. I know the material. Not only know the material, I've put myself through countless hours of just beating my body to get to this point. And I know what's going to take for you to get there because I've done it. That's the difference. As opposed to just having a book, this is what it says, you got to do it. It's different when you apply that application and be like, yo, I've gone through it. I've done it. This is the best course of action for you to take now because I know what it's going to take. And that alone will separate you as a physician from everybody else. Because not only you've gone through the process, you've gone through the fire, you've gone through school, and you've gone through training, you've gone through all those countless hours of being in the hospital. You got to go through clinical, right? You got to go through these things. So you've gone through the process of doing it. So when people ask you for your advice, not only is credible, but you've gone through it, and they be like, yo, what you say is like gold. You're right. I can actually follow what you say because you've done it.
I think it's definitely important, definitely for myself and any other aspiring physicians to be able to keep in mind. So I definitely appreciate that.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be the last question that I ask you. What would you say are probably your own long-term, you might have touched on this a little bit, but what would you say is probably your long-term goals in terms of whether it's as a fitness trainer or even other endeavors?
Just to keep moving and keep healthy. Like, that's my long-term goal. I would like to continue to move as much as possible for as long as possible. I'm 35. I'm not getting any younger, but at the same time, my body takes a while to recover, so I gotta change it up. You can't do the same thing over and over again. You won't get the same results. You'll be stagnant in your results. So you gotta change things up. And for me personally, I gotta change things up. I'm in a new program. I'm in a new cycle. And I would say by mid-February, March, you'll see a completely different body. I'm on a different diet, different routine, and I'm just giving myself time to be more disciplined. And the reason why I changed things is because, like I said, I met with my doctor. And I was like, okay, I can make these changes in life. Even though I aesthetically want to look like this or like that, which I will achieve, but at the same time, it's just the older you get, the more you just want to be able to move your body. And that's the long-term effect. I don't care about being big or strong I'm probably never going to not lose my strength. That's a gift that I have. But, overall, just like, I want to be able to move and just continue to work out and feel good. Up until my late 60s and 70s, I've seen seniors who they look amazing. But they've been in the industry for years, and they just kept at it and consistent with it. And they just tweak things here and there. I want to do that. I want to be continuing to lifting while I'm 70. I want to be continuing lifting while I'm 80. Seriously, I want to continue to move that way. It's a lifestyle thing. Just continue to move and do things. If you ever go on YouTube and look at senior citizens doing CrossFit, it will blow your mind the way these old people can able to throw the weight and move the way they move. I want to be doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a lot. Wow.
Word.
I definitely have to see that. But I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is dope. I hopefully come back again. I got a whole bunch of stories for you guys.
Yeah, this is definitely been an incredible episode. I'm sure a lot of people for sure enjoyed it. And before we get out, is there anywhere people can find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I MarkMyBodyFitness. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Any questions, comments, concerns, pick my brains. Don't judge my videos, please. I know it's absurd, but hey. But anybody want to talk health, fitness, any advice, any encouragement, I'm here for it. I'm open to the people. I'm about helping people. It's definitely helping my people.
For sure. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this podcast episode. I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed listening to this one, and I'll see you in the next one.